The San Jose Sharks are living these days without their captain, Owen Nolan, who appealed but was denied. So the youth have not been afraid to get bloodied up and have provided a great spark for Daryl Sutter's team. In addition, the goaltending is second to none, and the Sharks hope for a feeding frenzy today in St. Paul. We welcome you inside the XL Energy Center here in St. Paul, Minnesota, as we are set for a Sunday afternoon contest between the San Jose Sharks and the Minnesota Wild. Hi again, everybody. Alongside my partner, Tom Reed, I'm Mike Goldberg. Happy to be with you on this Sunday afternoon and watching a Red Hawk San Jose Sharks team.
This is a team, Mike, that has played so well. Their last loss on the road was back in December the 26th. You look, only 3 goals in their last 5 games, but unbeaten in 56 days at Buffalo. But look at the goals in their last 10 road games. And in that time, they are 6 victories and 4 losses in that stretch. They have played just phenomenal with 2 shutouts in their last 2 games.
Vincent Damphousse is out at least till the first round of the playoffs with a separated shoulder. Owen Nolan, of course, suspended. But the Sharks are 3-0-2 since Nolan had to sit down thanks to the brass at the NHL.
Well, it's interesting, Mike. We talk time and time again that when you have certain players that are out, and you'll see why he's out for 11 games as he hits Grant Marshall with a pretty good forearm thrust right here. A little premeditated, perhaps, but because of a hit earlier in the game. But he has to serve his suspension and $335,000 to go along with that 11-game suspension. They miss the leadership, but they've got other guys who can step in.
Certainly they have stepped it up defensively because they are missing 16% of their total goal scoring and 30% of their power play production. So the power play is down, but yet the defense is definitely up. And when you talk about a character man, you talk about Mike Ricci, and man, oh man, has he picked up a lot of the slack.
Well, you know, he's one of those players that comes to play game in and game out, 29 years of age, but he's also one of these players, too, that gets blood on his sweater every game, sometimes his, sometimes the opponent's, but he will give you that honest effort, and that's all that Daryl Sutter, the coach, is looking for. Guys, give me your very, very best, and we'll win some games.
Well, unfortunately, right now for the Minnesota Wild, they are looking at a team that has lost some of their offense, but they know that Mike Ricci and the San Jose Sharks can certainly play a very stellar defensive game.
Well, I think that's the key to our game. I think we create offense from good defense, and we have to play well defensively. We've got some key guys out. You know, we got great goaltending, so for us, we just we know our bread and butter is going to be playing good defense. And you know, the last couple games we've been playing better defensively, getting some results, and that's what we have to continue to do.
South Minnesota Wild trying to snap a 2-game losing streak, and they are a bit bloody.
Keith, can George W. do for the country what he did for the Texas Rangers?
What do you mean, sell it?
The Keith Olbermann Evening News tonight at 10.
Signed a contract extension. He has always been a defensive-minded coach, Tom, but he has the San Jose Sharks truly dialed in.
Well, he certainly does. And one thing, when you look at him, and certainly he is one of the candidates, along with Jacques Lemaire, as the Jack Adams candidate for this season. You look at his start, their best start in franchise history. But this is a team also that knows what he has to do in the first half. 25 victories, 10 losses, and 6 ties in that stretch. He's got to feel also good that his brother, Rich, is now, Ronnie, I should say, is playing for Calgary.
Ronnie is playing for Calgary. Rich is working for the Wild, as is Jacques Lemaire. And he was not very thrilled with the effort put out Friday night against the Los Angeles Kings.
No, he was not. In fact, he gave his team a pretty good workout yesterday. He thought it'd be 45 minutes. It was almost 90 minutes. He said, we got to get some jump back. We need it here today.
Who is the #1 goalie in San Jose? Might it be Steve Shields again? This will be his 5th start in the last 6 games. As we check out today's starting goaltenders, brought to you by Ream Heating and Cooling. Shields and Nabokov are the top goaltending tandem in the National Hockey League. And as we mentioned at the top of the show, Manny Fernandez in between the pipes today for Minnesota.
Well, this will be a battle of the goaltenders. There's no question. 2 very solid goaltenders. And one's really, when you look at the depth of each team, really count on these players to make the difference. In an afternoon game like this, and you look at Shields and you look at Fernandez, these guys are both very capable of keeping that puck from going over the net, over the line.
Our referees, Rob Martell, Bill McCrary, Troy Sartizan, and Mark Wheeler will work the lines as we are set for the face-off here in Minnesota. The Wild will embark on a 3-game road trip after today's game, and so they would love to recapture the magic of the Sunday matinees as they were able to do just 1 week ago. Little delay while they get the goal light in place behind the net minded by Manny Fernandez. Not working. Hope it doesn't work in the first and third periods.
Well, the Wild hope they don't have to use that one at all. No question. The old days, the goal judge used to stand on the back of the net.
Is that right?
Yes. That was before I was born. I just want you to know that.
Well, how about the goal judge last night?
Well, it was interesting. At the University of Minnesota, the goal light went on, and there was clearly no goal, but he had to actually leave his location and had to walk all the way over to the scorer's table to discuss with Don Adam, the referee, whether it was in or not. And it took about a good 7-8 minutes.
Sure.
And it was no goal.
It was no goal.
No.
The result was not worth the walk. Or maybe it was. For one team it was, right?
That's right. It wasn't worth it for Minnesota. They did not get credited for the goal.
So the men in teal are back here in St. Paul, and Roman Simicek tries to work it up to Dowd. Simicek on the line with Pellerin and Dowd, with Darby Hendrickson out suffering still the effects of another concussion after the hit against the Pittsburgh Penguins by Darius Kasparidis. The puck is played by the men in teal. And this is Harvey. Harvey gets it across. And no Dan Foose, no Owen Nolan. Yes, Jeff Friesen, the only part of the normal top line for this San Jose team in uniform today. Sundstrom has been good. Marco Sturm has been excellent as he dumps the puck in, and Friesen, the former top pick of the Sharks, tries to play it inside the zone, and Wes Walz will skate it down. Walz steps into the offensive zone, leaves it back towards Kuba, and the puck rolled out of the zone, and there's an offside call.
Well, Walz with that quickness trying to get on the blue line and cut laterally across, but he actually lost possession of the puck. He wasn't trying to make the pass to Kuba, but Kuba coming up was just a little bit slow in getting in there. Didn't realize what was going to happen and almost able to keep it in, but the offside call goes against Minnesota. The faceoff will be just outside the Shark zone.
Both of the goaltenders for San Jose are in the top 6 in save percentage, and San Jose unbeaten in their last 5 games and have allowed just 3 goals against during that span. 3 shutouts, 2 of them by today's starter Steve Shields, who may be the #1 goaltender again here in San Jose. Puck is played out of the zone by the Sharks and dumped in by Scott Hannon. And Manny Fernandez will freeze.
Well, Fernandez taking no chances early on here. He knows how explosive the Sharks team can be, and rather than just give up the puck blindly, he elected to hang on to it right there. And what you want to do is, as a goaltender, be able to read the play a little bit. If you're not sure where you're going to go with it, you have to make sure that you have good control.
There you see the dynamic duo that I spoke of a moment ago, Nabokov and Steve Shields of San Jose. Manny Fernandez tied for 2nd in the National Hockey League in save percentage, as Walz gets set to take the draw against Marco Sturm. Sturm with 10 goals on the season. Minnesota controls, and they will clear it out of the zone. Puck taken by Walz, and an offside will be called. It's interesting, Daryl Sutter, he can be tough at times with the media. And I remember one time somebody asked him about, what do you like the most in a goaltender? Do you like goals against average or save percentage? He said, I like wins and losses.
Well, he's absolutely right. Those things have no bearing. As long as you're winning games, you're fine with it. But I really do like to look not so much at the way a goaltender is playing, as much as what his save percentage is. That tells you pretty well how he is playing.
Mike Ratchey, the big man behind the net, works it to the sideboards, kept in by the Wild momentarily, and the puck will trickle to the near side boards. Gathered in now by Bobby Dahlis. Dahlis had sat out 17 consecutive games, most of them as a healthy scratch. He's playing his 2nd game in a row here this afternoon. Mateau on the forecheck. Patrick Marleau is in deep, and the puck is sent up towards Sylvain Blouin. Blouin looked to get a lead pass to Gabrick, and a whistle and a stoppage. 17:57 remains in the first.
Well, look at Sylvain Blouin, who gets an opportunity to play in this game with the injuries that have taken place with the Wild. Nielsen out of this lineup, of course, with the shoulder injury. You've got Hendrickson, who's out with the facial injury, and also you have Krasov, who's out with the ankle injury, and the defenseman Vladislav Benesic is out with the hand injury with a broken finger, and he has trouble holding on to that stick and shooting. So other players get a chance. When they get those chances, they have to make the most of them.
Pavel Potera recently called up from the International Hockey League, And he is one of the top scorers in the IHL. So the one thing that injuries create are opportunities, and that is what San Jose, some of their younger players, have taken advantage of. You never want the injuries, but when you do, you want young players to step up, and San Jose's done a great job, especially without Dan Foose and recently their captain, Owen Nolan. Shot save made by Manny Fernandez as a shot from Jim Montgomery, former Maine Black Bear. Up ahead towards Jim Dowd. Suter, a big drive, and a good save again by Fernandez as the puck behind the net. On the forecheck is Mark Smith. He looked to center, and it was redirected by Montgomery, and somehow at the last minute, Fernandez was able to sweep it aside. Gary Suter, the Madison, Wisconsin native, 36-year-old. Will help dump it down towards the wild zone. Bombardier will touch. A penalty's going to be called as Harvey and Johnson tangled away from the puck.
Well, it's going to be a high sticking call that the referee is signaling right now. And it will go against Minnesota. And that's the big guy, Matt Johnson, who heads to the penalty box for that call. That coming at 2:56 of the scoreless first period.
So San Jose will get the first crack with the man advantage.
Well, here's an opportunity. When you watch players and how they maneuver and when they don't have the puck, you watch here as your player has to time it perfectly to come in front of the net. You can see Montgomery as he takes that pass, just slow down a little bit so he's in a good shooting position and the puck comes to him. It does. He's able to take the shot away. Fernandez be able to be right in front of it to take the puck from going in behind him.
San Jose's power play tied for 21st in the National Hockey League. The penalty killing of the Minnesota Wild is 4th best in the NHL, but it was not good 2 nights ago against Los Angeles, as the Kings got a couple of power play goals on 3 opportunities. Puck over towards the near side, and Scott Thornton behind to Ricci. Harvey's on the forward unit with Brad Stewart and Gary Suter. Suter had one of the power play goals the other day for San Jose. Ricci takes the puck. Ricci to Suter. Suter, a low drive, and it's intercepted by Bombardier, and he's able to clear it the length of the ice surface.
Nice play by Bombardier to get good control of the puck, and even on the backhand to make sure he was keeping it away from the defenseman so it would go all the way down the ice.
Of the top 3 power play producers for San Jose, 2 are not in the lineup. Nolan has 8 power play goals on the year. Danfus 4. Ricci has 5, but he will have to move with a couple of other forwards and get a line change as the Wild clear one more time. Puck brought up and through center by Gary Suter. Suter gives it a ride. It comes towards the near side boards where Patrick Marleau, the 21-year-old sensation, tries to take it. Here is Cam Stewart shorthanded. Stewart, a shot, save made by Shields. Michigan Wolverine against Michigan Wolverine, and Shields wins the battle against Cam Stewart. Through the neutral zone, it's Jeff Friesen. Friesen will leave it for Marleau. Marleau on the backhand towards the point. Played there by Scott Hammond. Pushed aside by Lubomir Sekric. Now behind the net, O'Donnell tangles for it. And on the near side boards, it's Mike Ratchey. Ratchey at the blue line. They make the pass across the hand and a drive. It deflected off a couple of bodies. And O'Donnell tried to sweep it. And the puck is pushed out by Cam Stewart.
Well, you talk about deflections. You want to get bodies, sticks, whatever you can in front of the net to keep the puck from going towards the target. Minnesota able to do that.
With Marcus Ragnarsson out of the lineup, Scott Hannon. A lot of time, shot, score. Marco Sturm. Power play goal, San Jose.
Well, how often have we talked about being in front of the net and making that quick release, and that's exactly what Sturm does as he takes that puck with kind of a little spinorama also as he gets the puck and from about 8 feet out in front of the goaltender just takes a swipe. Not always looking to see where the puck is going. He knows where the target is and what he has to do, but you watch as the puck is kept in the zone, and that's the critical part of it here. There's a little deflection. There's a little turn coming in there, grabs it. It's in behind, and the Sharks have taken the lead 1-0. That coming at 4:48 on the power play of the first period.
So Marco Sturm gets his 11th goal of the season. He recently ended a 23-game goal-scoring drought and has been much more productive here on this recent road trip, where San Jose has not allowed a goal, defeating the Chicago Blackhawks 7-0, and then the Nashville Predators by a final score of 2-0. And Sturm strikes on the power play for San Jose. Lubomir Sekric, shot from a bad angle. And Montgomery will clear out the rebound. Across to Tony Granato. Granato, the former Wisconsin Badger, gets it back. And now it's played in by Mark Smith. Smith had it poked off his stick, and Lubomir Sekric will chase it down. Granato and Hannon will get the assists on the power play goal by Marco Sturm. And it's 1-0 San Jose. Andy Sutton leaves it behind the net for Brad Bombardier. Just underway here in St. Paul. Blue end pokes it ahead. Brian Marchment, he drags down Cam Stewart. And the Wild are going to have their first chance with the man advantage.
Well, there's a lunch pail approach by Cam Stewart once again. Not the greatest wheels as far as speed goes, but I'll tell you, grit and determination make a big difference, and he draws a penalty.
Applebee's is going wild. Get your Minnesota Wild collector glass at any Minnesota Applebee's location. The glass features the inaugural season logo. Applebee's is a proud partner of the Minnesota Wild.
Well, to the left of the San Jose netminder is where it's going to happen. Right here, he misses the check initially and has to reach out with his left arm. And Marchment is called as Stewart tries to step around, not able to do so. And so this will give Minnesota their first power play of the game.
Not surprisingly, Tom, for the top defensive team in the NHL, their penalty kill is excellent. Third in the NHL against the lowest ranked power play unit in the National Hockey League. And the puck is cleared out by Mike Ricci. Ricci plays many minutes. He plays many different roles, especially with the two top gunners out of the lineup. And he refuses to cut his hair. Yager has, others have. But Ricci won't.
It's the cost of the haircut.
And that might be it. That might exactly be it. Ratchi clears it out. And the Wild will have to regroup. It's Sekrish and Kuba at the points. Pellerin's up front, as is Jim Dowd. And now onto the ice surface is Marian Gaborik. Kuba ahead. Nice pass to Pellerin. Pellerin with Hannon in his face. Pellerin uses the body to shield off the defender. Gets the puck to Gaborik. Gaborik trying to return it to Pellerin. And it's cleared out nicely by Scott Hannon.
Well, Kuba had started to move in from the point position, but he was not towards the center of the ice and just was not able to get to that puck to keep it from going all the way down.
Philip Kuba, averaging still about 23 minutes a night. Tops amongst NHL rookies. As the puck is played in the neutral zone by Pavel Patera. Patera playing his first game in a Minnesota Wild uniform here today. Shot over towards the near side by San Jose. Lecision keeps it in just momentarily at the blue line as the goal scorer Marco Sturm, the 22-year-old German, is able to clear it down towards Manny Fernandez. 30 seconds left in the minor penalty called against San Jose's number 27, Brian Marchment. Sent into the zone and sent right back out by Smith.
Well, the Wild having a tough time right now getting good possession in the offensive zone to generate any type of shots towards the target. San Jose doing the job they have to do with their penalty killers.
San Jose a franchise best 17 games over 500 with 32 wins and 74 points on the season. And the final second on the Marchment penalty will tick off. Davey gets it across. Laxonen tried to leave it for Walls, and Marchment steps in and sends it over towards the far side boards. It goes off the back of the net, and the Sharks are able to clear out. No mistake made by Patrick Marleau. Sean O'Donnell in pursuit is Tony Granato. O'Donnell dragged down by Granato. A play will go right on as O'Donnell tries to regain possession of the puck. Now it's Antti Laxonen. Laxonen and Granato tangle, and Brad Stewart will work it over towards Korolyuk, and he sends it into the Wild zone. Puck is played by Kuba. Up ahead to Pellerin. Pellerin headman's on the play. Here's Jim Dowd through center. Dowd pestered from behind. Tried to get a wrist shot away. Looked for a centering pass instead, and Roman Simicek couldn't get a stick on it. Dowd reaches high. Can't bring it in. Pellerin bounces it back towards Sekrish. Harvey ahead of the play. Steps on the puck, loses his blade, and here comes Scott Pellerin. Pellerin 1-on-3 as the Sharks very responsible defensively. Sutton hit by Stewart, hit high, and the penalty is going to be called. How does a rivalry begin? This is a good start.
Well, it starts certainly with the physical play. There was a penalty being called with that. And so often when a team is getting a penalty, they'll try to get the other team to draw a penalty also. Officials kind of standing back here. A lot of shoving and everything else. Nothing major.
Nothing major, Tom. Just a minor. At least that's what we believe. We'll have the answer later on. 2 men in the box for San Jose, 1 for Minnesota. So the result is a Minnesota power play. Their second here in the first period. Stewart, Patera, and Marion Gabrick are on the ice. Patera, the recent call-up from Cleveland of the International Hockey League, where he was second in the IHL in total assists. Over the line, Ricci was offside, trying to get a jump for Nicholas Sundstrom to get the puck to him. Minnesota Wild have not been overly dynamic offensively all season long, but they've sputtered lately. So we asked Mike Ramsey why.
I think we've played some pretty good hockey teams. I think enthusiasm, we haven't played with the enthusiasm. We had some real big games where there was a lot of hype, and the guys were hyped up, and we had good legs. And I think the last couple games, last game, I don't think we had much for legs. We didn't pressure the puck much. I think we sat back a little bit, and we did the same in Pittsburgh. We sat back a little bit. So I think we have to pressure the puck and forecheck a little bit more.
And I would have to agree with that. The thing is, when you're playing it with a team that doesn't have a lot of goal scorers, and you can't have anybody let down, you need the entire cylinders going. Every player has to give his little part. And Mike was right when he said the team just didn't seem to have that jump in the last couple of games.
Every team can hit a wall at a different time. You hope this is not the time for the Wild as they turn it over in the neutral zone, and Sekerish is forced to chase Marco Sturm and drag him down, and that will do it for the man advantage.
Well, they're going to call it as a hook. You can call a hook, trip, whatever, but it is a penalty, and Sekerish had no choice there. Sturm doing a nice job of anticipating the pass coming across, able to take the puck, and then almost coming in on the break. As you watch him right here, and Sekerish, who had no speed there, had to try and pull him back. And with that, that will take away any opportunity the Wild have on the power play. And this will even things up on the ice as well as you look at Sekerish, the oldest rookie of the Minnesota Wild, heading to the penalty box right now.
6 shorthanded goals have been allowed by San Jose on the season. By comparison, the Wild have allowed 9 shorthanded goals, while the Sharks have scored 7 and the Wild have scored 9. But it seemed like Jacques Lemaire was watching San Jose have better chances there, Tom, during the first couple of seconds of that power play than his team was able to generate.
Well, that's right. And that's one thing that Mike talked about just a few minutes ago, not having that quick jump. We haven't seen this team kind of sit back very much, but we have in the last couple of games, and that certainly has to be concerned with the coaching staff, but more importantly with the players.
Kuba to O'Donnell. O'Donnell up ahead towards Wall, so 4-on-4 hockey for the next 1 minute and 5 seconds. And then when Stewart comes out of the box, the Sharks will have a short-lived power play of their own. Puck is controlled by Friesen. Friesen has it here, gives it up now. Sturm the shot, high and wide, stick side of Manny Fernandez. So 39 and 19, Friesen and Sturm, 2 very quick forwards for this San Jose 4-on-4. Walls gets it across towards O'Donnell. O'Donnell with Friesen in his face. He mishandles the puck, and Walls chases it down.
Well, you can see O'Donnell kind of leaning back a bit, lost his balance, and could not control the puck.
Bombardier from a bad angle, and a pad save made by Shields. Shields back-to-back shutouts. Half of his yearly dosage of shutouts in the last couple of games. He's got a good streak going right now, and he has yet to really be tested by Gabrick and the Wild.
Wait. How would you have done playing in the Bubble Boys League?
Where is he? He's behind the net again. Go get him. We don't go back there. Look, his arms and legs are moving. He is smaller in person. Hey.
I think it had done pretty well.
What did he say? Let me at him. Go ahead. You're not going to stop.
To get in line for 2001-2002 Minnesota Wild season tickets, a $100 deposit reserved your spot in the Minnesota Wild Warming House. A waiting list for Wild season tickets next year. You better act fast. Call 651-222-WILD. Call today. $100 deposit per seat in the Minnesota Wild Warming House. Sharks about to warm up their power play as Brad Stewart will come out of the box. 38 seconds to work with the man advantage here for San Jose. They head man and into the zone. Marlowe gets it across. It is chased down by Alexander Korolyuk. And giving it a ride out of the zone is Curtis Lecision.
Well, Minnesota wants to make sure they get the possession of the puck and are able to get it down the zone. They've been guilty a few times this year of not being able to clear that zone and adding more pressure on themselves.
San Jose unbeaten in their last 10 road games, a franchise best. And the best in the National Hockey League road record overall for the Sharks. Brad Stewart across the line. He gets to the loose puck. Both teams back at even strength now. O'Donnell and Kuba are there defensively. To the point, it's Suter. He has time. Long drive. And Fernandez saw it all the way. Laxinen. Suter keeps it in. And now Walls brings it out. Walls tried to bring it over towards the near side. No one there. Korolyuk looks to gain control for San Jose, and Walls wins the battle and sends it over to Philip Kuba, who has a little bit more room to work it out. Stephen Matteau, a Daryl Sutter guy. First a Mike Keenan guy, Tom, and now a Daryl Sutter guy, Stephen Matteau.
Well, he's one of those guys that certainly knows what to do when he has a puck. And great wheels. I mean, this guy knows what it takes to be able to put the puck in the net. And the first thing you have to have is the speed to get there.
Matteau to Granato. A veteran. Couple of wingers on with Jim Montgomery, who is not an NHL veteran, but a 31-year-old at that. As Sutton brings it up and through. Pellerin. Patera. Now it's Patera, Bluen, and Marian Gaborik on this forward line. Gaborik. Patera playing in his first game in a Minnesota Wild uniform, and a penalty is going to be called, and Bluen is ready to go. Brian Marchment and Sylvain Bluen.
Well, two tough guys, and Marchment, one of the first guys that will come right back after him. The initial penalty, I think, is going to go against Bluen for cross-checking along the boards, and that brings Marchment, who has been known as one of those guys you want to keep your head up against, because he'll hit you any way he can and make his point. Last year he was out with numerous injuries with knee, ankle, and groin and neck, but also suspension for spearing. And Bluen still barking at him, and you can bet this will be something that will continue. You talked before about the rivalries, and they do it so often through the physical part of the game.
I don't think Sylvain Bluen liked very much that once he was down and the referees had kind of jumped in, that it seemed like Brian Marchment wanted to continue the fracas.
I think you're absolutely right. I think once a player's down, I think that's a time to step back a little bit. But he is not a guy who's going to step back. You watch right here as you see Bluen take him into the boards. There's a little pushing behind, but watch as the play continues here. There's the stick right there. There's the initial infraction there. But at the same point, you watch right here, there's a little retaliation coming. They come against each other right now, kind of grab on. But when you're down, I mean, that's the time to kind of, for the other guy to step back. But he's been labeled kind of as a headhunter, has had a bad reputation around the league. But when he's around, you know if he's on the ice, he will try and get a piece of you.
Now Marchment, the 31-year-old from Scarborough, Ontario, still hearing it from Sylvain Bluen. And so Bluen gets the extra 2 for cross-checking, as Tom talked about. And then they both sit for 5 minutes each for fighting, as referee Bill McCrary trying to sort things out with Brad Bombardier. While we have a stoppage in play, let's check out today's Wells Fargo High School Hockey Update.
Well, once again, you look at the Class A standings, and we get closer and closer to tournament time. Breck and Blake still up at the top end there, but a lot of teams, and look at the girls also. Blaine and Roseville, Hibbing, White Bear Lake, all good solid teams as you look at the top 10 here, and those players also looking to advance and make sure that they win those all-important one-game elimination series to get to the state championships.
Now Daryl Sutter, as a player, spent 5 years as the captain of the Blackhawks. He was a hard-nosed player, finally forced to retire due to injuries, but he's the oldest of Daryl, Brian, Brent, Dwayne, Rich with the Wild, and Ron. The family has 6 Stanley Cups and 5,000+ NHL games played, and Sylvain Bluen showing a lot of emotion inside the penalty box. And Brian Marchment has had people jaw at him before. Well, he will have people talk to him again.
They've also given Marchment a slashing penalty, so that'll even things up there.
So no power play either way. You know, you saw the slash coming right after the cross check, as it was called against Bluen, and then Marchment dropped the gloves and came into Sylvain Bluen. So in about 7 minutes time, they may see each other again, Tom. In the meantime, we'll just play it like it never happened. A little 5-on-5 hockey as Ratchey takes it for San Jose. Bombardier keeps it in on the far side towards Stewart. Stewart, Gavey, and Johnson line together as Scott Thornton back in the lineup for the San Jose Sharks. Bombardier, Thornton got off to such a great start this season, and now he is trying to continue to put into what has turned out to be a career year and adding some more numbers. Had 2 goals and an assist in his first game back against Chicago to begin this road trip for San Jose. Walls lost the handle. The quick Savonte Laxinen gets it back to Wes Walls. Laxinen, time, tried to feed Walls. He's driven into the net, and play will go right on. Finally, the whistle will sound as there's a tangle inside the home of Steve Shields.
Oh, it's an awesome building. I wish they had these buildings when I played.
When you think back just a few years ago to the Olympics and so on, and things that have happened over the years. I mean, anything that really stands out in your mind when you watch the game today?
Well, they're bigger, they're faster. I don't know. There's more of them. They're more bigger guys. They're faster. Tom, I don't know if they're any higher skilled than they used to be. There's more of them. The game is a lot faster. I think it's the same in hockey as it is in any sport.
In front of the net, Jim Dowd hit by Hannon. Power play for the Minnesota Wild as Friesen was called for interference. And so the Wild with their 3rd chance with the man advantage. In front, it's Pellerin, and the loose puck will be gathered in at the point by Bombardier. Bombardier towards the net, and Steve Shields will hold on now.
Anyway, Tom, what I was saying is I think with every sport, the athletes seem to be bigger, faster, and stronger. I don't think it's any different in hockey.
The European influx, certainly over the last few decades, has given us a greater amount of talent throughout the National Hockey League also, Rob.
Without question, and I think it's made the game better. It's made it more wide open, and I personally like to see it. I wasn't a big guy, so it would benefit me.
You know, you had the chance to play in the National Hockey League for a number of years, playing with Buffalo, Hartford, New York Rangers. You still get on the ice once in a while? I mean, what does your day consist of now? What type of business are you in?
I work at Piper Jaffrey, and I do not skate but once or twice a year. Play golf instead.
Only because you have to, right?
Jim Dowd behind the net, 120 remains in the power play. Nifty bounce pass over towards Scott Pellerin. Pellerin back towards Dowd. Dowd will leave it for Roman Simicek. Simicek had the 2 power play goals against Anaheim. Across it's Bombardier, and Kuba can't keep it in at the blue line. Looks to send it into the zone, and a quick offside. 1:04 remains in the Friesen penalty. Well, we asked this question before. Who scored the game-winning goal for Team USA in the 1980 Olympic gold medal hockey game against Finland? Would you like to take a stab at it, Rob?
I think I have that one back. Yeah.
It was the man here with us. And remember, the Americans were nervous until that man lit the lamp. And the U.S. went on to defeat Finland and capture the gold medal. The miracle on ice in 1980 in Lake Placid. Amazing that it has been over 2 decades since that great event.
It feels like it every time I skate. I'll tell you that much.
All 2 times a year?
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of it, though.
You know, we saw Herb Brooks on the bench there. I mean, what is your thought with Herbie coming back to coach the Olympics the next go-around?
Tom, I think it's going to be a little different, obviously, because he doesn't have as much time to prepare the team. He's got, obviously, higher skilled players. But, and it's going to be a chore for him to bring them together so quickly. But Herbie's one of the best coaches I ever played for, so I know he can get them motivated.
What makes him good?
He's tough on the players. I think he's probably changed a little bit over the years, but with us, he was just a bear. He just rode us hard all year long and then never quit, pushed and pushed and pushed. I think back then you could do that. It's a little different now.
And obviously the rewards are there as you look right now. As
when I was young back then, holy cow.
You were about 21 years younger.
No gray hair either.
I can't say that.
You know, a good friend of mine, Jeff Blatnick, who won a gold medal in 1984 in heavyweight wrestling for the U.S., said, "You're never a former gold medalist. You are always just a gold medalist." And that is certainly the case for the heroes from the Miracle on Ice, many of them from the great state of Minnesota. Back in 1980, Pavel Patera, 20 seconds left in the man advantage. Patera feeds Gabrick. Gabrick wanted to get it over to Gavey. Rathje read it all the way and broke up the play. 13 seconds now remains in the penalty to Friesen. Marchman and Bluen continue to serve their long sentences after the minors plus a fighting penalty were called against them. Gavey looks for the wraparound. Bouncing puck will come towards the point. And it's kept in by O'Donnell in the power play. Power play number 3 for Minnesota here in period number 1 has concluded. Gavey in his face is Mark Smith. Sharks Jeff Friesen trying to work it out. Strong on the stick. Gets it into the offensive zone. Still working diligently for him. And finally the play broken up. Brad Stewart steps aside. Stewart, big shot. Whistle sounds. Manny Fernandez, good save. Now, hockey, as Gary Bettman said, never should have left the state of Minnesota. The NHL game returning this year. Tom and I have talked about it. You had a gut feeling, Rob, it would be good, but we weren't so sure it would be this good so quickly.
Well, I think that you have to give credit to Risebrough and Jacques Lemaire for putting together a team that maybe not be the best offensively, but will be in every game. They'll never be out of any game because of the style they play in terms of focusing on their defensive end first. And I think they're doing it the right way. And obviously with the fans here, they come to every game and they support the team in a big way.
Too many men on the ice is going to be called against the San Jose Sharks, so the Wild will have another chance with the man advantage. And Tom, for this San Jose team, which is the top defensive team in the National Hockey League, the Wild need to try to take advantage of the fact they've had the man advantage now a fourth time here in period number 1.
Well, you're absolutely right, but the thing is you have got to get some shots on the ice. Too many men on the ice, once again, results in this. And those sometimes are miscommunication between the coach and the players. Let's watch right here. We got 1, we got 2, we got 3, we got 4, we got 5, and 6. That's one too many. And so with that in mind, that this team will certainly have to kill off this penalty once again. And Daryl Sutter, he's been there before. He knows what it takes, and he is shaking his head right now saying, hey, guys, let's be a little bit smarter here. That wasn't just at the bench. That was a full 6 guys on the ice. Where'd he come from?
6, 7, 8. They're all too many. And so Harvey will serve the penalty. Todd Harvey, the 26-year-old from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. And he will sit down for the next 2 minutes. Hopefully not if you're a Minnesota Wild fan, as Lecision Bombardier, Jim Dowd, Scott Pellerin, and Roman Simicek will start with the man advantage here. The Wild working against the number 3 ranked penalty killing unit in the NHL, owned by the San Jose Sharks. And the Sharks have been especially good here recently. Coming into this afternoon, they had killed 23 straight opponents' power plays in the last 5 games. They've killed off the first 3 for Minnesota here in the first period. Dowd across the line. Lecision comes in to help. Friesen is there. Simicek works for the loose puck. Big Mike Ratchey. And Scott Hannon finally comes away with it. And the Sharks give it a ride.
Nice play by Hannon to knock the puck off the boards initially, then get to the puck. Take a look before he shot it all the way down to make sure it wouldn't be kept in the zone.
Mike Colbert, Tom Reed, Rob McClanahan, 1980 U.S. Olympic gold medalist. Part of that great team with Mike Ramsey and Herb Brooks, the head coach. 17 Minnesotans that year. Bombardier sends it in. Roost will kick it ahead. Laxinen gets it onto the stick of Walls. Another penalty coming up. Going to go against San Jose. Out of the net is Manny Fernandez. Walls controls to Sekrish, a drive, a redirection, and the shot sails wide from Laxinen. Roost was right on the doorstep and could not pull the trigger. Interference will be the call, and the Wild will have 36 seconds of a 5-on-3.
Well, this is where you really have to make things happen for you on the power play when you've got the 2-man advantage. As you call it, Mike, it will be an interference call coming at 17 minutes and 57 seconds of the period as Matteau heads to the box right now. I believe it was in behind the net in that area. And so with that, the referee makes a quick call. And San Jose, who has had some pretty good wheels in this first period, will have to see what they can do with a 2-man short situation.
Rob, from your perspective, what's the key to the 5-on-3?
You got to move the puck around. I don't think, personally, I wouldn't want to take a lot of shots from the blue line. I would rather work it in low and see if you can get somebody and isolate them.
Well, you watch here as a penalty is going to take place here. Watch on the right-hand side of your screen, right in this area here. And all of a sudden, as you'll watch as he comes in, Matteau trying to take Laxinen and just gets the stick in front of him. Laxinen at the same time goes down, and he's able to draw the attention of the referee, which results in the penalty.
So Pellerin and the Wild will have the man advantage as Wes Walz gets a quick adjustment on his right hand from Donnie Fuller on the Wild bench. Face-off win for Jim Dowd. Kuba has it to Gabrick. Gabrick to Kuba. Kuba, a big drive, and it sails out of play. Marco Sturm with the deflection and the block shot of Philip Kuba.
And you watch Sturm also, he waits and waits and waits. Good patience there as he waits for Kuba to put the head down a little bit. The puck comes back to point. And watch right here. Stop it here if we can. Oh, not a little bit quick there, but all of a sudden, as he looks there and he sees that Kuba's looking, he starts to throw his legs into the puck, making sure the pads are facing the shot.
So Walls will take this face-off, or pardon me, Jim Dowd will take this face-off with Pellerin and Sutton up front for a big body. Gabrick's at a point, and Kuba is on the other side. Pellerin towards Gabrick off the linesman skate, and now a big drive, redirected, and a slash to the side of Steve Shields. Sutton got in front of the net, almost was able to redirect. Kuba to Pellerin. Gabrick wants it on the far side post. Now it's Kuba. Kuba to Pellerin. A drive off the side of the netting. 3 seconds left in the 5-on-3. Pellerin again, a one-timer. Blocker saved by Shields. Sturm tries to work for it. To the point, it's Kuba again. Kuba, big shot. Wow, that sailed glove side of Steve Shields. And finally, the puck is cleared out by San Jose. 1:06 remains in the penalty to Mateau. It's a 5-on-4 now, with just another extra second or two remaining here in the first period.
Well, the Sharks did a nice job in their own zone, getting in that triangle position to make sure they could keep the shots away as much as possible. Now they get, with the extra player back on the ice, they get the box position, but they are still shorthanded.
Sekeric gets it back to Bombardier. We will also visit a little bit more in depth with Rob McClanahan in our first intermission here on Fox Sports Net. Puck is controlled by Stacey Roos to Laxinen. Walls clears the zone, comes back in, has it, gets it to Sekeric. Sekeric trying to feed it to Roos. Here is Roos towards the point. Walls takes it, and the backhand fooled Lubomir Sekeric as Mike Ricci was right in place. Laxinen plays it through center. Laxinen tied up by Friesen, breaks through. Laxinen looks to center. Here is Sekeric. Now it's Bombardier. Bombardier to Roost. Roost across towards Antti Laxinen. Final seconds ticking away here in the first period, and Roost controls it to the point, and Sekeric across the drive. It's knocked down nicely by Scott Hannon, and the horn will sound. 5 chances, count them, Tom, with the man advantage, and a scoreless first 20 minutes for the home team.
Well, the Wild doing a better job in the latter part of this first period, moving their legs a little bit more than we saw at the beginning. And with that, getting some chances on the power play, could not put it away. Good period all in all. They're just 1 goal down.
Marco Sturm scored that goal at 4:38 of the first period. You see the Minnesota team go.
Face-offs, as you watch right in this area right here in the face-offs. And with that in mind, that's where you have to control the puck. Get it from the face-off to begin with, and all of a sudden, then you'll control the puck. But they've got to be a bit stronger on the puck. They've got to get players in front of Steve Shields and create some havoc there and get the shots to the target.
Gaby was 3 of 4 on the draw. He takes this first one against Ricci, and the Wild control again. Bombardier ahead to Johnson. Both teams are even strength to begin the second period, but not for very long, because the Wild are going to be called for a penalty just 13 seconds in to the second period.
Well, this is going to be a roughing call that's going to take place, as you mentioned, early on, and you want to have a good jump at the beginning, but you don't want to draw penalties, and that's what Matt Johnson has done for the Wild as he makes his second trip to the penalty box. He's picked up the first penalty at 2:56 of the first period. He gets his second penalty at just 13 seconds of the second period, and Jacques Lemaire not happy with the call. Perhaps on the part of Matt Johnson, felt it was the smartest thing to do, but nonetheless, Minnesota, who's had the advantage of 5 power plays, will be shorthanded once again. Watch on the right-hand side of your screen. Watch. There's Matt Johnson right there, and you'll see what happens here. See the little shot he may give right here. Oh, the little shot with the stick, and is that the reason for it? In the midsection?
Now, at least we know one thing. He is in the box definitively as Brad Stewart, runner-up for the Calder last year to Scotty Gomez of the New Jersey Devils, dumps it ahead towards Scott Thornton. Thornton's cousin is Joe Thornton, top overall pick of the Boston Bruins a few years ago. Scott Thornton, the longtime NHL veteran in his 11th season. First year in teal, though, as the puck is cleared out by the Wild. He is a free agent signee this year and got off to a great start. Has 13 goals on the season. The puck is played by San Jose. Stewart is at the 1 point. Suter is at the other. Number 24, Nicholas Sundstrom controls. Looking in front for Marco Sturm on a quick pass. There's a long drive from Suter and a good save by Manny Fernandez. You know, the one thing about Gary Suter, and he's done this for a long time, Tom, he's so accurate with his shot from the point and always keeps it low towards the ice where sticks can reach it and deflections can occur.
Well, especially in the power play, you'll watch they'll move him towards the middle part of the ice where you have a better shooting position. And with that in mind, it looks like we may have another penalty here.
Yeah, Bombardier got the stick up high on Friesen, and he's bleeding.
Yeah, it's going to be a double minor because of that. So this will really put Minnesota at a disadvantage. We'll see how they call it. High sticking call. And watch it there. You see Bombardier coming across and tried to get a piece of me. He had the stick up high, and certainly you have to have control of the stick. It will result in the penalty.
So Bombardier sits down with still 46 seconds remaining on the penalty against Matt Johnson as the stick gets right up high into the face of 39 Jeff Friesen.
Yeah.
Boom, right there.
Yeah.
Ouch.
And it's below the eye, and once again, with the shield that protected him, certainly would have in that case. And it will be a double minor called against Bombardier. This will really put them at the disadvantage. 2 men short. There's a little bit of medical assistance there, and Bombardier, the captain for the month of January and again in February here, not happy with himself for that play.
Here is Kuba. Can he send it out? Yes, at least to the neutral zone. Westwalls. He's got 5 shorthanded goals on the season, which is 3rd best in the National Hockey League. Of the 9 shorthanded goals scored by Minnesota, Walls with 5 of them. And the shot from way out was wide of Steve Shields as Stewart sends it in. Now Dowd is on the ice. Here's Suter walking in himself. Backhand save made by Manny Fernandez.
Oh, a little nastiness once again in front of the net. Stewart had good possession of the puck and came in here. Manny Fernandez, who has been strong all season long, as we've mentioned before, is able to tuck that puck away. You watch here as he comes in, just controls it. Suter doing a good job of getting it. He had a little bit more room to move there. Wasn't quite sure, and elected to take the quick shot away, hoping to put it in. And he had no one coming towards him. Again, probably another 3-4 feet he could have maneuvered, but when you're in that tight, you want to make sure you get the shot to the net.
Suter had one of his 4 goals this season against the Predators, and he has 16 points this season on the power play. 28 points overall, 9 goals for the year. Here is number 20, Gary Suter. Suter with a Stanley Cup in '89 with the Flames. From the University of Wisconsin with Tony Granato. Not to the Flames was Granato. Suter, the longtime Blackhawk and Calgary Flame, gets the puck over towards Marco Sturm. Sturm, the goal scorer. Out of the box is Johnson. And so it's a 5-on-4, but still for over 3 minutes of time. As the puck is controlled by San Jose's Marco Sturm. Sturm with his 2nd power play goal of the year at 4:38 of the first period. Granato, and now it has been changed. Stefan Matteau with the assists on that goal. The only goal scored in our contest. As Suter will control. Suter, the '86 Calder winner, dumps it in. Marco Sturm on the near side boards. Kuba gave him a bump, and the Wild give it a ride back towards Steve Shields. Scott Hannon, the 22-year-old from Richmond, British Columbia, all 3 of his seasons in the National Hockey League played with San Jose. He gets it across and into the zone. Comes San Jose. It's Jim Montgomery. Montgomery to the point to Rathje. Rathje to Hannon. Hannon towards Montgomery. McClanahan talked about being small. Rob McClanahan. Montgomery can relate. Shot saved by Fernandez. A lot of time over on the far side for Scott Thornton. Couldn't really handle the puck, and that gave Manny time to get in position, Tom.
Well, he was a little bit out there, a little bit farther than he wanted to be. When he took the pass, he's tried to back up a little bit, hoping the goaltender would go down because he wanted to go high with it. But Manny very focused on that point, very square. When he saw the pass coming across, he was able to move across, and you can see how he is right now. How square he up. He's got the head up, and you watch Thornton right here as he takes the pass. Couldn't control it right there, and you can see Manny go down a little bit, all of a sudden right back up where he could not, Thornton could not get the puck over top of him.
Now with the 13 goals, 25 points for Scott Thornton. This is a career best season in his first year in San Jose. Getting a lot of ice time here today. Hannon gets it in towards Thornton. Now it's Jim Montgomery. Montgomery gives it up. Granato controls. Tony Granato to Montgomery. Montgomery gets it quickly to Thornton. A big drive. Say puck is still free as Dowd looked for it. Well, Thornton got the shot away he wanted in tight territory, and Fernandez made a good glove save. Now Dowd will leave it for Pellerin, and Pellerin is bodied off the puck by Hannon. 1:27 remains in the penalty against Bombardier. Sharks really waited for the right shot, the shot they wanted a moment ago with Scott Thornton.
And that's what you want to. You don't want to just take shots for the sake of getting the shots away. You want to have quality shots. That's a big difference between total shots on net.
1:09 remaining in the penalty, and a stoppage will give the Wild a chance to relax. And Tony Granato, the 36-year-old, working diligently a moment ago in the offensive zone.
Well, you want those players who have got the ability to maneuver a little bit, to get in position. And you look how quickly he makes that turn, watching where the puck is, taking the hits when you have to take the hits. And of course, Tony Granato, one of those players who played at Wisconsin, played 4 years with his teammate Gary Suter over there, and won the Bill Masterton Trophy back in 1996-97. He has been around for a while in his 13th year as a pro.
7 years with the Los Angeles Kings, playing up the coast now in San Jose. Started his pro career with the New York Rangers. Former U.S. Olympian himself, Tony Granato, part of the Olympic team in 1988. Sent in by Brad Stewart, played by Manny Fernandez. Fernandez sends it towards Gavey. In on Gavey is Patrick Marleau. Marleau trying to push towards the puck. Marleau, the top goal scorer for San Jose this year, with a career-high 22 on the season. The Wild clear again, Tom, and now there's only 30 seconds left in this man advantage.
Well, they've done the job they have to do, killing off the two-man disadvantage, and now, of course, the double minor penalty that has come against Bombardier, but it's not over yet.
Freezing shot. Well timed. The save was a little better time, but well-timed statement, partner.
Well, it was, and the one thing about this team is they can be so explosive. But once again, Fernandez able to come across here. So look at Friesen, took the cut a little bit earlier from Bombardier. Puck comes across ice here, and Friesen will take the pass here. Good shooting angle. Gets a quick release there. You can see he pull a little bit further and further towards the corner. When that happens, what you do is you take away that shooting angle. But you watch how focused these players are. You don't want to turn your back on the puck. You want to make sure you know where it is at all times. When the puck comes to you, take the good shot when you have it.
Jeff Friesen and the Sharks, their last road loss December 23rd at Buffalo, a 5-2 defeat 56 days ago. They are 6-0-4-0 during this 10-game road unbeaten streak, and have only lost 5 games away from San Jose Arena this season. They're 10th in the National Hockey League. Dowd has it behind the net. Bodies go down. Play goes right on. Jim Dowd gets it to Pellerin. Dowd has it back. Dowd into the offensive zone to Pellerin. Pellerin a drive. It goes off the side of the net, glove side of Steve Shields. Hannon will leave. And the puck will be played up towards Stefan Matteau, kept in by Minnesota. Kuba was at the point. Pellerin's in front. Puck was still free. And Smith able to break things up.
Well, that was one of the few times Minnesota once again had players in front of the net, and with that comes some chances. And that's what I was talking about before. Get some big bodies in there, and hopefully something will deflect off of a stick, a skate, whatever it takes.
Well, it is 1-0. The Sharks have 12 shots, the Wild 10. Both have had numerous opportunities. With the man advantage, is basically the first 5 minutes of this second period was spent on the power play for San Jose. Up ahead to Gabrick, but he was 2 lines away from it. No whistle. Everybody kind of stopped for a second, Tom.
Well, they did.
And then
looking around,
including Marion Gabrick.
Yes, he was.
Next thing he knew, it was okay to continue. Now let's see if the whistle will sound. It does. I hear it. And we will step aside. Gabrick wasn't sure, nor was I. Jacques Lemaire puzzled. They trail by 1.
Beyond the Glory takes you into the lives of sport's biggest stars. The Pettys were racing royalty, but their dynasty was tested by impossible expectations.
I'm not Richard Petty, okay? My name's Kyle Petty.
And heart-wrenching tragedy.
And he said there'd been an accident and that it wasn't good.
It's beyond anybody's control. It's fate.
The Petty Family, Beyond the Glory, tonight at 8 on MSC.
Going wild, get your Minnesota Wild collector glass at any Minnesota Applebee's location. The glass features the inaugural season logo. Applebee's is a proud partner of the Minnesota Wild. Pavel Patera in the lineup for the first time this inaugural season has seen limited ice time. but yet has been good in the faceoff circles when he has had the chance to take some draws as an offside will be called. Patera played, Tom, only 4.5 minutes in the first period. Took 7 shifts on the ice, but man, in the IHL level, he has really torn things up.
Well, he has. He's one of those players that knows what he has to do when he has the puck. When you put him in the center with his wingers, 44 assists, 52 points total. But when you look at the assist department, that tells you that this is a youngster who has good vision of the ice. He can see his wings well, works well with his wings. And it's going to take a little while here for him to adjust to the style here, the speed of this game, and also the finesse of the NHL level.
Pavel Patera, good look at Pavel, who had a pretty impressive training camp. Not impressive enough to make the initial squad, and now he'd like to get his chance here to play for a long time in the National Hockey League. 12 NHL games played in the 99-2000 season with the Dallas Stars, then back in Czechoslovakia, and then the 54 games played this year in the IHL. Sent towards Manny Fernandez. Ricci coming in looking for the loose puck. Ricci dragged down, looked to center, broken up by Minnesota. Here comes Cam Stewart. Stewart has Johnson on one wing, Sutton on the other. He is draped by a lot of muscle, is Cam Stewart. Stewart teammates at the University of Michigan with Steve Shields and had a chance to score against Shields earlier. Johnson wants to goad Marchment into goal. Marchment doesn't want anything to do with it, and Fernandez down at the other end, a full split save.
Well, I think that once again Thornton was standing on the doorstep. He thought he had something going here, but could not put it away. He had good control of the puck, but could not put it a little bit higher than where he wanted to put it. And once again, it's going to be Manny Fernandez who comes up with a key save. You watch here as Minnesota controls behind their own net, trying to make that long pass away, especially in front of the net like that. You can't afford to make it across that center like that, because if it's intercepted, as it was right there, good read by Thornton to take the puck, play with his hand, then put it right down and control it there. But Fernandez had to come up with a stopper there so that Aaron Gavey didn't have to slink to the bench.
And he would have had to do exactly that. Marchment leading the Sharks in penalty minutes. Johnson wanted to back up Sylvain Blouin, I think, a moment ago, but Marchment wouldn't be goaded into it that time. We'll see what happens next time. Suter sends it right in. Mateau and Marleau had cleared the zone in time, and here comes Brad Bombardier. Bombardier gets it across to Curtis Lecision. Lecision ahead to Pellerin. Stewart steps in. Dowd will give chase, and Suter gives it a ride towards the near side boards. Mateau slashes it out. San Jose Sharks shutting out their last 2 opponents. And Mike Ricci, one of the reasons why, because you want to talk about a two-way player. This man will go both ways all the time on the ice surface, and he was one of the 2 members of the 1999-2000 and now 2000-2001 San Jose Sharks who were amongst the top 5 picks in the 1990 draft. And wow, you look at those 5 names. That is pretty darn impressive.
Well, it certainly is. And look at the one who's number 5, too, Yager, who has just had a tremendous career with the Pittsburgh Penguins. But those players, when you draft like that, you have a pretty good idea when you're that high in the draft that those players are going to do something for you. And each one of those players certainly has with their respective teams.
Ricci had the Stanley Cup ring put on his finger in '96 with the Avalanche. In front of the net, Patera tried to center towards Steve Shields. Now it's Pavel Patera. Patera to the point in Bombardier. Bombardier shot deflected aside. Loose puck skated down by Patrick Marleau. Blouin took it away from his stick and sends it back in. Brad Stewart does not have a stick right now. He is on one of the defensive pairings for this team, the San Jose Sharks, along with Gary Suter. Blouin, he gets hammered into. Gives his opponent a bear hug. Off the helmet came and into possession. Suter has it. Gets it across, and now Korolyuk will bring it into the zone. Korolyuk, a long drive. Fernandez makes a save. Bombardier on the forecheck is Mark Smith. Bobby Dulles on the ice. Former Anaheim Mighty Duck. One of their first leaders. Montgomery centering pass. Oh, on the doorstep was Smith. Fernandez closed it down with a little help from Bombardier. Now the puck at the point, Mike Rathje in front. Korolyuk couldn't get a hold of it. Simacek will pick it up and gets it to Patera. Patera through center. He'll dump it into the San Jose zone. Shields has it. Simacek on the forecheck and a stoppage in play.
Well, once again, San Jose getting those opportunities, especially in this second period. 15 shots they've had total now. You watch the play here. Look at the stretch once again by Fernandez. He's able to bring that pad out and just get across in time as he's got Korlock standing right on the doorstep there. But you watch him before a game and how much he stretches and before each period, and that tells you exactly why. He knows he has to be able to come across in those situations, and he's been able to do that time and time again this year.
Now the Dallas Stars, the closest pursuer is Jamie McLennan. Gets a day off.
Having some popcorn?
Yeah, a little popcorn, a little relaxation. Ready to go just in case.
I've seen players on the bench have little refreshments now and again, especially the exhibition games when you play in some of those smaller arenas where you get the attention of the popcorn vendor.
Absolutely. Here it's kind of tough with 18,500 plus wanting a little popcorn at the XL Energy Center. Puck to O'Donnell. He looked to send it over towards Kuba. Friesen was standing there, takes it off the sideboards and dumps it in. O'Donnell gets to it first. In pursuit, Nicholas Sundstrom. Sundstrom has been solid with Damphousse out of the lineup. Walls gets it from Laxinen. Laxinen across the line. Shot. Score! Haji Laxinen from West Walls. And we are tied at 1.
Well, that was perfectly executed, and the reason it was is because of the fact of the play of this game. Watch how they cross right here. That draws both defensemen one way, and that allows Laxinen that extra time he needs. As you watch here, you can see everyone come this direction. All of a sudden, he's got a free hand to shoot, and he just beats Shields on the glove side, puts it away. 9:59 of the goal by Laxinen, which ties up this game at 1 apiece.
Laxinen and Walls, the two Minnesota Wild players to have played in every game this first season, combined to tie this game at 1. And the crowd re-energized here at the XL Energy Center. Puck is played by Marchment momentarily. Moved ahead towards Todd Harvey. Harvey dumps it in. 10th goal of the year for Antti Laxinen. Wes Walls and Stacy Roost will gain the assists. 9:59, the time of the goal. Walls and Laxinen, line mates all year long, connecting on the game-tying goal.
Well, San Jose has been in row, as we said before, 2 shutouts in a row. That's only the second goal that they have allowed in 257 minutes and 6 seconds. Wow.
Think the complexion of this game will change now, partner?
And yes, I think it will. And we've seen goals scored, 2 goals scored in 6-7 seconds at times. But yeah, I think what that does now gives Minnesota a little bit more burst of an energy, because they needed something to propel them, and Laxinen certainly gives that. You watch here. We talked about face-offs before and controlling them. They don't do it here, but they get it back. And you watch here as that puck comes in off the skate once again, and this is where you have to have a good goaltender to be able to pull it back and make sure he's got control all the way.
Sharks won the first meeting of these two teams back on October 20th by a final score of 3-1. Then on November 28th at San Jose Arena, they defeated the Wild 4-1. So 1 has been the magic number, but it hasn't been magical for Minnesota goals against San Jose. This is the 3rd of 4 meetings. April 2nd, back at the Shark Tank, will be the 4th and final meeting of the regular season between the leader in the Pacific Division, the San Jose Sharks, and the Minnesota Wild. Dallas in pursuit of the Sharks, who are in the stretch of 12 of 15 road games and have just 13 home games remaining. Shot by Montgomery, misses the net. A good one-timer on the quick pass from Tony Granato. Montgomery gives his former teammate at Maine, Scott Pellerin, a little bump into the boards. Maine and Montgomery, 2 Maine Black Bears, and Montgomery was there in '93 as a senior when Paul Correa was a freshman, the year after Pellerin won the Hobie and was part of that national championship team. Kuba chases down. Kuba sends it back towards O'Donnell, and the loose puck controlled by San Jose. Patrick Marleau. Now it's Stefan Matteau. Matteau has good size at 6'4", 220 pounds. Korolyuk. Leaves it now for his line mate, Patrick Marleau. 6'2", 205. So this is a pretty big line on the ice right here. Coro yucks the little man at 5'9", 190, but he's got two trees around him. They get it to Mateau. Quick shot. Fernandez trying to hold on to the rebound. Right on the doorstep was Patrick Marleau. And the puck gets cleared out by Minnesota. Laxinen with speed. Dallas steps in his way, and Rathje sends it back towards Philip Kuba.
Nice play by Dallas. He just took Laxinen right out of the play.
Stacey Roost misses onto Laxinen, and Mike Rathje picks it up. Rathje, the 3rd overall pick of the Sharks back in '92, back in their early existence. Lecision tries to touch first. He does. Moves it up, and the puck goes out of play. Now, don't forget the Wild will return to Fox Sports Net to begin a swing through Western Canada with a visit to Calgary to take on Valerie Beret. Phil Housley and the Calgary Flames on Thursday, March 1st. Coverage begins with the pregame report at 7:30 Central Time. Don't miss exciting NHL hockey as Fox Sports Net coverage of the Minnesota Wild continues on MSC.
Well, one of the things that teams have to be involved with is free agency, and you look at Scott Pellerin right now, the assistant captain of the Wild, and that's what's going through his mind. And of course, Doug Risebrough has made an offer to him. But the thing that disturbs the coach, Jacques Lemaire, is that when it gets in the paper, because when it gets in the paper, it gets in the dressing room. The players start talking about, oh, they should sign, they shouldn't sign, you should get this, and so on. And it becomes a distraction, and that's one thing that Jacques did not want. But that's inevitable. It is going to happen. And right now, the negotiations are off a little bit as they contemplate what's going to happen with the players that Minnesota has.
Shot. Big shot by Friesen. Misses glove side of Manny Fernandez. Friesen ripped the wrist shot trying to go upstairs on the glove side of Manny. Now it's towards the point in Hannon. Hannon sends it to Fernandez, and Fernandez will hold on. Hey, Tom, it's interesting because personally, I think Scott Pellerin's tried to low-key it. He's tried to keep it down, but inevitably, questions are going to be asked about Pellerin, about Lecision, and about O'Donnell, especially Pellerin, because the offer has been extended, which is different than the two defensemen.
Well, that's exactly right. But when you have players of this caliber, and you look at O'Donnell, also, there are a lot of teams out there right now that are vying for playoff positions. And maybe it's an O'Donnell or a Pellerin to make the difference for that team. And so there will be some offers coming as we get closer to that March 13th deadline.
Curtis Lecision won a cup in '96 with the Colorado Avalanche, led the team that year in plus-minus. He has really not been talked about a further deal. He becomes an unrestricted free agent in July. The one thing Doug Risebrough said early in the process, though, about unrestricted free agents, he said, I was a player. I respect the fact that you've been in this league this many years. You've earned the right to try to support your family as profitably as you can. That might not be here. That might not work for us and your family in your estimation, as Roost is in front of the net. But nonetheless, he respects the free agent status. Kuba shot side. Knocked down by Hannon. Laxinen fights for it. Roos tries to play it. Bouncing puck. Walls took a swipe at it. Now Roos trying to be strong on the stick, and Friesen knocks him down. Both Walls and Roos without their helmets. Finally, the penalty is going to be called. It's going to go against Friesen. He was draped upon Roos the first time, and the second time Bill McCreary raises the big right arm.
Well, he's going to call it a cross-check, and I'll tell you, I think that maybe Roos got away with a little one there. He was knocked down, lost his helmet, but when he skated by the goalpost at the same time, Friesen is in there, but I think Roos also makes it look really good here to draw the attention of the referee. You watch as Shields goes out behind the net, and all of a sudden the pressure's on. Minnesota can't quite get the shot away they're looking for, but you'll watch as the action continues back in front of the net. And controlling the puck, getting the shots around the defenders makes a big difference here. Minnesota's struggling here a little bit to trying to get to the puck to net, but San Jose also struggling, trying to get possession. There's where Roos was knocked down. And watch the post right here. You can see as he comes in here, he kind of jumps and Friesen and look right back at the referee saying, you're not going to call that one again. But he does, and so it would be Minnesota on the power play.
For the 6th time this afternoon, Pellerin to Kuba. Lots of time. Kuba shot bouncing in front. Hannon able to clear it aside. So Pellerin, the leading scorer of this hockey team, on the power play with Roman Simicek, Jim Dowd, Philip Kuba, and Lubomir Sekric. Dowd dumps it in. Simicek gets there first. Beats Mike Rathje to the loose puck. Pellerin in to help out. The puck is now played at the blue line by Kuba. He dumps it back in. Pellerin will fight for possession. To Kuba. Quick snap of the wrist. In front. Pellerin. He scores! Dowd had the redirection. Pellerin got the rebound. Power play goal, Minnesota. 2-1 Wild.
Watch how the puck goes back to the point here. You'll see how the defenseman, if you hold it right here in that area, was able to hold the ground there, get the puck, and then bring it back out here. But watch Pellerin too, because he knows when it goes back to the point, get to the front of the net. As he comes in here, the puck just comes out. Now doing the job in front to make sure the goaltender's gonna be screened, create the havoc, take his mind off of the play, whatever. But the puck comes right back to Pellerin, puts it away, scoring his 10th goal of the year.
So 10 for Laaksonen and now 10 for Pellerin on the season as the Wild scored their first power play goal in the past 8 games and ended 0 for 28 with the man advantage, and they scored against the top defensive team in the National Hockey League, the San Jose Sharks. Pellerin has given the Wild the lead. 2-1 Minnesota. Puck is played by Gabrick. Backhand saved by Shields. Scott Pellerin, his 10th of the year from Jim Dowd and Philip Kuba. And the goal is a power play goal at 14-24. Blue End squares up now with Brad Stewart. And Blue End got poked. And the penalty is going to be called. Well done, Sylvain Blue End. He was poked by Tony Granato. And Granato will head to the penalty box.
Oh, there's a little slash also from Shields. And he took a little shot at Gabrick in behind the net, and that should be called. But there definitely was a penalty that was going to be called against Granato as he was standing up for his teammate. And so he will head to the penalty box. I'm surprised they did not call Shields with that little couple taps in behind the net. 15-14 the time of the penalty. Minnesota, who has taken the lead in this game, will have the man advantage. The watch right here along the boards, and that's where Stewart gets into it. Blue End, a little push back and forth, and then it's done. But watch a little push here from Granato as he just knocks him down. Watch Pellerin here on this goal. And you see what he does when he watches a play and where it's going to go, never turns his back to where the puck is, able to see it goes to the point. And Kuba has to pull the puck off the boards, being a left-handed shot, pull it off the boards on the right side, get the shot. Dowd gets 1 assist after getting a piece of it, and then the rebound goes right over to him, who puts it away, Mr. Pellerin.
So Scott Pellerin, his 37th point of the season. Kuba's drive knocked down in front by Friesen. Another face-off win, Tom, for Jim Dowd, who was 8 of 9 in the first period, as you mentioned. Friesen's wrist shot knocked aside by Kuba. Friesen in on the forecheck. Power play number 7 for the Wild. They scored on their 6th power play opportunity to take the 2-1 lead. 1:35 remains in the minor penalty against Tony Granato. And Granato, no stranger to the penalty box. He has served many minors throughout his long 13-year career. Down across the line. Simicek stayed onside. Now it's Pellerin. Pellerin sweeps it to the near side, and Kuba. Kuba, Pellerin, Simicek. Simicek towards Pellerin. He'll get it right back. Pellerin now, side of the net, looking for Jim Dowd. Passing lane taken away. Gives it to Sekrish. Sekrish read nicely by Ricci. And Ricci clears it aside, but not the length of the ice. Although there will be a stoppage as Sekrish stopped the puck with a high stick. Ricci, good positioning that time, Tom.
Well, he's been around for a long time. He knows how to put himself in the area where that puck, he thinks that puck is going to go. And when he's able to do that, he's able to get a piece of it. But you look at his career, just a tremendous effort.
7 years ago last night, Mike Ricci scored 5 goals for the Quebec Nordiques against the San Jose Sharks, which continues to be the most goals against in a single game in San Jose franchise history. Ironically, you saw the top 5 picks in '90. He was originally drafted by Philadelphia, went to Quebec in the Eric Lindros deal. As did Colorado's Stanley Cup eventually, didn't it?
Yeah, $15 million and everything else.
Peter Forsberg.
Yeah.
And where is Eric Lindros today? Across the line, Smith. Smith, the quick shot. Fernandez sweeps it aside. Smith gets on the rebound, and O'Donnell skates him down. In deep. The puck moved up. Roost from Gabrick. Roost will break down the outside. Roost behind the net. Patera was busting towards the post. Roost has it. Patera, Gabrick, and Roost. Bombardier and O'Donnell. Marchment got a stick on the Roost pass, and Stacey gets it back. Sean O'Donnell. Now the puck is left towards Pavel Patera. He feathers it over to Gabrick. Here is Stacey Roost to O'Donnell. His drive swept aside as the puck was blocked and then cleared out. Stephen Matteau was right in the face of Sean O'Donnell. Here's Bombardier. 2:49 remains in the period. And just a couple of seconds now tick away, and Granato comes out of the box and right into the face of O'Donnell. Walls lost it. Sharks coming, and Friesen couldn't handle. Sturm got it to Friesen. Granato was breaking towards the net. Now it's Jeff Friesen spinning, looking towards the net, redirected by Granato. He's hammered down to the ice by Curtis Decision. And out of the zone comes Minnesota. Wes Walls, Cam Stewart, Matt Johnson. Suter gives a bump to Stewart. Marco Sturm in deep in his own zone. And Friesen clears it ahead. Patrick Marleau with speed from the outside. Quick snap to the wrists and a save by Fernandez.
When you look at those rebounds from Fernandez or those deflections, everything he does now right now is moving off to the side, going into the corner where it's less dangerous.
On the forecheck, Cam Stewart. To Johnson. Back towards Stewart. Shields pushes it aside. Dowd bumps it up towards O'Donnell. Out of the box and onto the ice was Todd Harvey. And Harvey was able to break up the play. His pass eventually will be controlled by Minnesota. They'll regain possession in the neutral zone and dump it in. Well, for two of the top defensive teams here in the National Hockey League, this second period has had some pretty good pace. You've got two teams that have also skate a little bit, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, I think Minnesota has really picked up the pace after scoring that goal early on. Relaxing, getting it seemed to give them a little more desire, too.
San Jose, many consider the fastest skating team in the NHL. The argument can be made certainly that they are one of the fastest teams in the NHL. And they've got a good blend of vets and youth. Ricci, the veteran. Koroluk, the 25-year-old. Shot from the point, knocked down by Johnson. Here's Brad Stewart. And his shot goes wide. Now Hannon, who fires it into traffic. It went off the backside of Bombardier, but not cleared out on the first try by Johnson, and helped out was Matt Johnson by Aaron Gavey.
Well, when you talk about San Jose, they're also a team that has improved so much. The only team to improve in the NHL in the last 4 years, going from 62 points to 78 to 80 to 87. It looks like they're going to continue that trend again this year.
Koroluk. Laxinen has it. Sharks have made the playoffs the last 3 years. Stewart has it, looking for Walls. He looks to fire it past Shields, and Shields covered it nicely.
He really did. He stayed in a position where Walls could not get the puck up high enough. And Walls had good patience with it there, but it never opened up.
Horn will sound as Suter goes down. And the second period will come to a close. Antti Laxinen, his 10th of the year. Scott Pellerin, a power play goal, his 10th of the season.
Well, the players know they have something left to do here, but watch right here. Stewart makes a nice play here. The little flip over the defenseman's stick, and all of a sudden Suter has to go with him. But Walls has good possession, but you can see Shields coming across there. Good defensive play from the goaltender, and took the opportunity away by Minnesota.
Amongst those who we will talk to and talk about in our second intermission, head coach of the Gophers hockey team, Don Lucia, our special guest here on MSC. And one of the two times the Wild have lost when leading after 2 periods was the other night in Pittsburgh at Mellon Arena when Mario Lemieux scored both third-period goals for the Penguins, and they came back from a 1-0 deficit to win 2-1. Wild have lost 2 straight, and the Sharks have been on a roll, an absolute roll, with 32 victories on the season. But Dallas is right on their heels, so they understand the importance of trying to finish this 3-game road swing that started in Chicago, went to Nashville, and finishes here on a positive note. Brad Stewart steps across the red line and dumps it in. Sharks in the midst of 7 games in 9 days. A very busy hockey team.
And when you miss 2 of your big scorers,
yeah,
big leaders, and the likes of Dan Foose and also Nolan, it puts a little more pressure on you. But once again, Daryl Sutter says, we've got the guys we think that can make it work for us. We just have to make sure that we keep the guys as well rested as we possibly can on that stretch.
The biggest surprise might be that they're 3-0-2 since the Nolan suspension.
Yeah.
Koroluk shot. Matteau is breaking in. Nolan, some of the head office personnel from San Jose met with the NHL brass a few days ago to appeal the decision. It was denied. Shot Oh, that's a good one by Marlowe. He can fire the puck, but he misses glove side of Fernandez. Penalty's going to be called. It's a high stick. And it is Pavel Patera, the man that we talked about a moment ago. Tom, while we have a second, take a look at this afternoon's Northland Ford game summary. Antti Laaksonen, third on this Wild team with the 10 goals on this season. Manny Fernandez with 21 saves. And the Sharks finally allowing an opponent power play goal. They had killed 23 straight opponent power plays coming into this afternoon.
Well, the Sharks are going to get another chance right now. Watch the hit right here. See how high the stick is. He actually got hit from the side, and that brought the stick up. But the rule is that, you know, keep it control, keep it down, or you'll get the penalty.
So Pavel Patera sits down for the 2-minute minor as Mike Ramsey and Jacques Lemaire look on. And remember the beginning of the second period, almost the first 5 minutes or so, the Wild were shorthanded at one point. They had to work through the double minor, give it a Bombardier. Tom, they also had a lengthy 5-on-3 that they killed off.
Yeah, well, the penalty killing has been very good for the most part. Both teams have given up a power play or goal tonight, or this afternoon, I should say. And right now, it's Minnesota that has got to be a little bit stronger with the man-short situation.
The power play goal, the only goal of the game, scored by San Jose. It was scored by Marco Sturm 4.5 minutes into the first period. Granato and Mateau had the helpers. There is Granato. He's on the line right here to start things off. So Vincent Damphousse is now working out. Hasn't skated since the dislocated shoulder occurred on January 15th. But he's working out 4 hours a day, 6 days a week. He is hopeful to be back for the second round of the playoffs. Maybe the first round of the playoffs. And Owen Nolan serving Game 5 of his 11-game suspension here today.
You know, one thing we haven't mentioned yet, Mike, is the dismissal of Bobby Smith as the general manager of the Phoenix Coyotes. Of course, Wayne Gretzky, who took over as the director of hockey operations there, brings in his longtime friend and longtime participant in the National Hockey League, Cliff Fletcher, close to 30 years in that area in a high management position to run that team for him, to handle the players. But Bobby Smith has done a good job there, and there's no question in my mind that he will wind up with some other team in the very near future.
Now, Fletcher engineered the '89 Stanley Cup championship in Calgary and was the GM in Calgary for a long time. And as the ownership change was inevitable, Tom, with Fletcher as a special consultant, you had to worry about the future of Bobby Smith with what it turns out to be his replacement sitting in an office right down the hall all these matter of months.
Well, he knew going in it was going to be very tough to retain his job. And when you have new ownership come in like that, especially people who have hockey knowledge, you know, with Fletcher and you know, with Gretzky coming in here, when you look at Montreal, it's a little bit different. They want to keep who they have right now because the guy who bought the team doesn't quite understand the role he plays. But it'll be interesting.
And Tom, with that hockey knowledge comes long relationships, and that's where Fletcher and Gretzky work towards it. Just 34 seconds left in the power play here as Marlowe mishandles and Lecision sends it down. So the Sharks unable to generate any scoring opportunities here with the man advantage early part of the third period. Mike Goldberg, Tom Reid, our fine crew from Fox Sports Net MSC, happy to be with you as the Wild trying to recapture the magic of Sunday afternoons here in front of another sold-out crowd at the XL Energy Center. Across the line and offside is called. Owen Nolan, this actually game 6 of his suspension, and Mike Ricci, we talked to him before today's game, and he said the San Jose team definitely misses their captain and inspirational leader.
Well, he does a little bit of everything, so, you know, obviously we miss him, and, you know, we've won some games, but we have to do that. If you're, you know, a good hockey team can overcome that. We've got a few key guys are out, and, I mean, Owen just does so much for us, and, you know, we miss a little bit of everything, but, you know, we miss having him around, and hopefully, you know, his suspension will be over, and we just got to continue to get better, and we'd like to get everyone back and just make sure we're clicking on full cylinders.
11-game suspension. He will return March 1st in Ottawa when the Senators take on the Sharks. Behind the net, watch out, shot wide by Mark Smith. Smith had broken in as the pass was put right on his stick by Todd Harvey. Back the other way comes Blouin towards Gabrick, just missed him, and Dulles skates down the puck first. So both teams back at even strength, and Sekrish tried to keep it in at the blue line. He gets bodied, and finally the whistle and the stoppage in play. You know, it's pretty amazing when you look at the San Jose team, because remember, Owen Nolan was a holdout early in the year, Tom, that on the entire season they're 11-4-4 without Owen Nolan, and they really have continued to cruise without Vincent Damphousse.
Right, they have, and that's what we talk about, the depth and also the systems that this gentleman has put into it. Daryl Sutter knows that, you know, we're going to have those situations. We're going to lose some of our key players. We have to be able to adjust to that, and he's been able to have the right combinations. As we said, this was the best start in franchise history this year. They continue to get better, and when you've got players of that caliber, and you will get Nolan back here after his 11-game suspension, then all of a sudden, as you get approach the playoffs, you have a little bit more, I think, enthusiasm too from that level.
Simacek, backhand pass towards Pellerin, broken up nicely by Steve Shields. Amazingly, Damphousse, the extended period of time in which he's been out of the lineup, and Nolan, the last 5 games, are still the #1 and #2 scorers on the Sharks team, with Damphousse being #1. Marleau is the leading active scorer in a San Jose uniform and the top goal scorer this year. Brad Stewart trying to pinch in a little bit. Sharks a little too early to take too many risks, but they'll start to if the Wild can corral them and hold on to this 1-goal lead late into the 3rd period. Not cleared out. Brad Stewart has it. Stewart stick handling in traffic. Pellerin took it away. Pellerin leaves it for Dowd. Dowd sends it in, and a line change will be made as San Jose regroups in their own zone. It's Gary Suter. Flies it off the glass. Sean O'Donnell picks it up. O'Donnell gets it across to Philip Kuba. Kuba moves it in front. Hand and gloves it ahead, and a hand pass will be called.
Well, he made a smart move there because he didn't have time to get his hand down to really, the stick down to really control. So he just took it and just kind of threw it out a little bit to make sure. But that'll bring the face-off inside the San Jose zone.
I'm sure it is good news for San Jose fans that Steve Shields is playing well again. Remember, he hurt himself, severely spraining his ankle in the 2nd regular season game. Played in just 3 of the first 19 regular season games. And during that time, Evgeny Nabokov made himself an all-star in his rookie NHL season. He took the NHL world on fire, but Shields has a bit more experience. Played in the playoffs last year when the San Jose Sharks upset the St. Louis Blues. So I would guess if you had your choice, you'd like to have 2 hot goalies, Tom, but it's nice to have Shields as perhaps your man for the postseason.
Yeah, it's nice to have at least one, where some teams aren't able to get that. But as you mentioned, Nabokov is really one of those guys who is certainly going to be a candidate for Calder of the Year, as is Marian Gaborik.
Gaborik scoreless today, but the Wild lead 2-1. Our score, 13:56, remains in the 3rd. The Wild would like to thank the Foursome in Wayzata, the official clothier of the Minnesota Wild. The Foursome in the Wayzata Bay Center has clothes for everyone. Check it out as soon as you can. For San Jose, Tom, they are well on their way to a franchise record of wins and points. They'll surpass last year's 35 wins and 87 points. And, you know, Daryl Sutter was out 2 years between his coaching experience in Chicago, in which he took the Hawks to the West Finals in '95. They eventually lost to Detroit. And this job in San Jose, but he's taken the San Jose team to the playoffs all 4 years. He is demanding. He's Herb Brooks-like, but yet his players have bought into the system, and that's so important.
Well, they have. But you remember in the playoffs last year, it was a big upset when they won the series against St. Louis in the quarterfinals. They lost to Dallas 4-1, but no one expected them to take the St. Louis Blues, who were a premium team last year, and take them and oust them as they did in the 7-game series.
St. Louis, last year's President's Trophy winner. San Jose, believe it or not, in franchise history, although they've had a couple of well-documented first-round playoff upsets, the Red Wings and then last year the Blues, they've never finished above 500, never had a winning season. This year, I guarantee you, they will have a winning season. Gaborik got hit hard by Brian Marchment, stood up at the blue line, and Blouin hammers him once and twice, and Marchment goes down as Sylvain Blouin jumped in after Marchment leveled Marian Gaborik.
And Gaborik is still down on one knee right now. And Marchment, I don't think he won any run at Blouin at that. Blouin went right after him. And you know, when you've got young kids on the team, and Gaborik just celebrating his 19th birthday on February the 14th. Doesn't play the physical style of game, but Marchment took a little bit of a shot at him, and that brought in Blouin, and he will, as a result, get the roughing call against him. You watch right here. Gabrick's got his head down. Now watch this coming in. And then he just turned into him. It was not a bad check at all.
Hit.
It just turns into him, and Gabrick wasn't quite prepared. But when you've got the reputation, when something happens, somebody's going to look at you. As he comes in, and he just kind of levels him, and you can see Gabrick just kind of feeling the effects of that, and that brought in Blouin. You saw him kind of take the legs out from underneath of Marchment, and so he will head to the penalty box, and so with a 1-goal lead, will be short-handed.
Yeah, there's a clean hit, Tom.
Yep, absolutely.
Clean hit. And Blouin came in and fired back at Brian Marchment. The rookie sensation, Marian Gabrick, will be just fine. Just a little bit of a buddy pass, taking it off the boards. He just had looked back for the puck just momentarily, and Marchment knew it and stepped right into him. So now the Sharks with a power play and a chance to tie this contest. In front to Stewart. He fanned on the shot as the stick may have broken in his hands. It did. He throws it aside, grabs some new lumber, jumps back into play. Meantime, Friesen and Montgomery dig for it for San Jose, and Patrick Marleau has it. Marleau across, just missed Brad Stewart. Stewart had 10 goals last year as a rookie, playing in all 82 games. He's got 5 goals this year, one of them with the man advantage. Marleau, doorstep, tried to go high. Fernandez shut it down, and Walsh clears it out.
Oh, that was a save. I'll tell you, he got the glove there just in time.
Sharks come back. 1:10 remains on the power play. Fernandez towards the near side boards. Jim Dowd trying to get it past Brad Stewart. Body check by Pellerin. On number 15, Alexander Korolyuk. Stewart now takes it. From Rocky Mountain House, Alberta, Canada. He's hammered again by Pellerin. Bodies flying here at the XL Energy Center. Physical style of hockey here on a Sunday afternoon. Ricci, Lecision tries to finish his check. 36 seconds left in the power play. Stewart a drive, knocked down by Pellerin. And the whistle will sound. What a shift for Scott Pellerin. 2 hits at the blue line, then he blocks the shot.
Well, this is when Minnesota plays their best also, Mike. When they're the more physical of the teams, and you watch them, they start to throw body around, it makes a big plus. But Manny Fernandez does a great job as Marleau comes in with a puck here from the side. You watch the action along the back of the boards, and you see how quick the goaltender has to be. And look where it is right now. He's starting to go down. He's losing his balance, but he doesn't lose focus of where his glove is. And as Marleau takes that shot right there, he's able to get a piece of it and keep it from going in the net. 11:37 to go in period number 3, and the Wild have a 1-goal lead.
Broken up, here's Kuba. He'll dump it ahead towards Stewart. Marchment is on the ice, and Marchment leaves it for Scott Hannon. Hannon, one of a dozen first-round picks on this roster for San Jose. Ricci, a first-round pick in '90, as we told you earlier, of the Philadelphia Flyers. Korolyuk behind the net. Loose puck behind, gathered in by Marco Sturm. Kuba tries to break it up. Ricci comes with it. Blouin's out of the box. We're back at even strength, and Blouin runs right into the point man, Brian Marchment. So Vane's got to be careful here, though, Tommy. He doesn't want to pick up another bad one and put his team shorthanded.
No, but you saw what he did. He got the puck, no place to go, shoot it in, and then allow the other players to get back on the ice. Get a good line change.
Sutton takes the puck. Harvey in his face. Antti Laaksonen tied the score at 9:59 into the second period. Wes Wall, Stacey Roost had the assist on that goal. Pellerin his 10th of the year. A power play goal in the second from Dowd and Kuba. And this is where we stand, 2-1, as San Jose's goal came early in the game from Marco Sturm. Smith across the line. Johnson helps to stamp things up, but Smith got to the loose puck and got a quick shot away. Harvey behind towards Scott Thornton. Thornton keeping his legs moving. Now Smith trying to get to the loose puck first. We've reached about the midway point of the third period of play. Now exactly at 10 minutes remaining. And the puck is cleared out. Bobby Dawlis. Dawlis playing today in just his 18th game of the season. A stoppage in action with the Wild clinging on to a 2-1 lead.
Fred is great. He always wants to play. Just look at him go. He's got so much energy, but he sure can work up quite a thirst. That's why I give him Budweiser. It's made with only the choicest hops and barley, and it's got a clean, crisp taste that he loves. I wouldn't give him anything less.
Game, and they are unbeaten in their last 10 road games, a franchise record best, but right now they are in danger of losing on the road for the first time since December 23rd, prior to Christmas in Buffalo.
Interesting, Blue End is right back out on the ice against Jacques Lemaire. I think quite happy the fact he was sticking up for his teammate and gives him that ice time that he's been looking for.
Blue End has it. Patera takes it. And Patera is hit by Gary Suter. Brad Stewart gets to the puck first. Turned it over. Gabrick chased it down. Stewart knew Blue End was coming. Blue End in front. He scores! Sylvain Blue End has scored. It's 3-1 Minnesota. For Sylvain Blue End, it is the first goal in the National Hockey League.
And what's interesting also, we talked about getting that added ice time, and you'll see him as he comes right in front of the net. He's not afraid to mix it up, but he also, look at the excitement on him right now. But watch the play also coming from the corner. As he likes to look where the puck is, everyone leaves him. You know, there's certain guys you have to pay attention to. Maybe he's not one of those guys. He should have been there. But Gabrick makes a perfect pass to him from the corner. He gives his team a 2-goal lead with under 10 minutes to go in the third period.
First goal in the National Hockey League for number 36, Sylvain Blue End. Marian Gabrick ironically gains the assist, and the Wild lead 3-1.
And it may be Gabrick just saying to him that, hey, thanks for helping me. Well, there was a play right in front of the net, and I'll tell you, Roos went down very heavily in front. And that is going to be Patrick Marleau who's going to get the penalty here. And I tell you, he was in pain. He may be out for an intentional injury here, which could be a match penalty. Now we've got to wait to see what the referee is going. It was right in front of the Minnesota bench, well and behind. You see Roos looking up here right now, and he is heading to the dressing room. Watch right here. You'll see Roos as he comes in here. There's a little hit. Now watch what happens in the ensuing play here. There's a stick to the back of the head. That's intentional.
And Roos went down quickly, dropping the gloves, and he's being attended to by our athletic therapist, Don Fuller. Stacey Roos looks to be okay.
Well, the initial shock of getting that is so painful. There will be a 5-minute major that's called, but there may be additional penalties with that, and that's why he has gone to the dressing room.
Looks like he might have caught, maybe even caught the sideboards or the stick, the butt into the stick maybe, Tom, or the boards as he went down, but looks like he's got a little bit right under the right eye to Stacey Roos.
Barlow of the Sharks, a 5-minute match penalty, 11:09.
It's a match penalty.
Comes at 11:09, so the Wild 5 minutes with the power play, and they can score as many goals as humanly possible during that time. Let's see if it was the boards or the stick, Tom.
You watch Roos right here as he comes in. Now watch where his stick is. See how high it is? He comes in and hits it in the back of the head. And the referee was able to see it, and you could see it just throw his gloves off, because, boy, that one would hurt from in behind.
You know, the stick was on the back of the head. It might have been his head shoved into that side of the boards, Tom, that left the damage underneath the right eye of Stacey Roos.
Very possible.
Those sideboards could do some damage. We saw it cost Cam Stewart a good 6 weeks when he was hit against Edmonton early in the year. It is a match penalty. That means a 5-minute penalty in which power play goals do not bring the man back out to the ice surface. So the Wild, up by 2, have a glorious chance to add on right here.
Well, not only that, but they also lose the services of Patrick Marleau, who's their leading scorer, his career best at 22 goals this year.
Just had his record-setting goal the other night against Nashville. Friesen Looks to center. Towards the point, it's Marchment. And Marchment sends it in. So, Tom, if my math serves me correctly, there'll be about 4 minutes remaining in the contest at the end of this long penalty against Patrick Merlot, and at least a 2-goal lead unless the Sharks score a shorthanded goal, and certainly the Wild are going to hope to prevent that.
Well, right now the most important thing that they can concern themselves with is keeping the puck out of their own zone and out of that net. And this is where they have to play smart.
Stacey Roos going to jump right back onto the ice surface, and that's good news for Minnesota.
Well, it is, because you need him on the ice. He's got just a good skill level. He's got that quickness. He's good on the face-off. He's been their leading face-off player all year long. And this has been a game when all of their centermen have seemed to be artists with the puck and getting the possession of it and moving it from there. But I think you're right. I think maybe he may have caught the boards with that, too, at the same time. But it will be a match penalty and perhaps a suspension. We will wait and see. They've been through this before to this team.
Yes, they've been very busy with the gentleman in New York. Dean Lombardi, Gary Bettman had some comments away from each other that weren't very pleasurable towards Bettman from Lombardi in the past few weeks, but he got a chance to apologize face-to-face to Bettman in New York and felt that even though Nolan's suspension was not rescinded or shortened at all, it was still a good meeting in New York as Gabrick steps across the line. Here is Gabrick. Look to drop it to Patera. Sylvain Blouin, his first career NHL score. Shot and a save. Fernandez kicked it aside off the stick of Gary Suter. Precision. And the puck is left over towards Marian Gabrick. Gabrick steps with speed around Smith. Smith hooks him a couple of times, comes away with the puck, and now leaves it for Mateau. Mateau, quick snap of the wrist, and the 5-hole shut tight by Manny Fernandez.
And then Sakharov just takes him out of the play. That allows Kuba to come in to pick up the loose puck.
San Jose with 74 points in the standings. Dallas right on their heels with 72 points in the standings in the Pacific Division. San Jose has played one less game entering today's action. Hannon behind the net. Run over on the play by Laxinen. They tangle up. 6:37 remains. Puck over towards Walls. To the point, it's Kuba. To Walls. Walls and Kuba. Shot wide of the net. Big carom off the backboards. Cleared aside by Mike Rathje.
That was a rebound.
Puck's made of rubber, isn't it? Kuba ahead to Pellerin.
Made of steel.
They were on that one. And the puck is cleared back out. So the Wild hoping to snap a 2-game losing streak. And in the process, in this 10-game unbeaten road streak of San Jose's. Here's Aaron Gavey. Steps past Marchment. Marchment eventually comes up with the puck. Dishes it to Friesen. Bad angle. Glove save, Manny Fernandez. 5:48 remains. Friesen must feel like he's one of the lone soldiers remaining in this San Jose offensive lineup. Second to check out what's on tap, brought to you by Bud Light. 3-game road trip starts in Dallas, then goes to Colorado, concludes in Nashville. Two of the top teams in the Western Conference, Dallas and Colorado, ahead on the docket. And that game against Colorado will be on KMSP Channel 9 in the upper Midwest. Walls has the puck. Ricci broken up nicely by Roost. 5.5 minutes remain. 1:40 with the power play. Roost had it poked aside last minute by Marchment. Laxinen to Walls. Walls gets it to Laxinen. Antti Laxinen leaves it. Walls redirects towards O'Donnell. Back to Wes Walls. Walls waiting. To O'Donnell. Long drive wide of the net. Roost to Walls. Bombardier wants it. Walls saw him. And the pass was partially deflected, and so Roost regathers. Here's Wes Walls again. To Roost. Roost waiting. Walls has it. To O'Donnell. A drive. It's high and wide. Long carom one more time. O'Donnell keeps it in. Another try at it. Deflected off of Marchment's stick and wide of Steve Shields. Here is Walls. With 54 seconds on this 5-minute power play, O'Donnell will take the puck on the backhand. In front towards Roost. Roost stepping in. Circles it back to Bombardier. Another drive trickling in front of Steve Shields after it was blocked on its way towards the San Jose net. Walls on the other side. Bombardier sneaking in. Laxinen behind the net to Walls. O'Donnell will take it. Under 30 seconds left now in the man advantage. Marchment. Walls picks it up. Roost has it behind the net. Stacy Roost towards Wes Walls. Tried a little give and go. But the Sharks are able to kill off 5 minutes of power play time. And now there are under 4 minutes remaining in the game.
And that's okay. The fact that Minnesota has a number of chances, including another one here, is that one right off the pipe, the shot by Pellerin.
I almost spoke too early, partner. There were 4 seconds left on the penalty when Pellerin clanked it off the iron.
But they really did a good job of moving the puck around and getting in position, getting those shots coming from the point. And you watch Minnesota using those defensemen as best they can and getting the shot to the target.
Pumped into the zone by Scott Thornton. 3-1 our score. 26 shots for San Jose, 17 for Minnesota, who on that last 5-minute power play had no shots. San Jose had 1. And Montgomery feels a bit robbed by Manny Fernandez right here. Pellerin let one go and almost made it 4-1.
Just about. It is a game of inches. And you watch this last play also. Montgomery, you watch him. He'll be to the right of the netminder right now. Fernandez makes the save here. Look how it comes right back, and he's able to get across and take that puck right into the midsection. Hold on to it, force a face-off, and keep it from going in. 3-1. Minnesota leads by 2. 3:22 to go. And that was a good power play because they didn't give up a shorthanded goal too. And you worry about those things.
Just 2 shots in this period, Tom, for Minnesota, but only 5 for San Jose. Wild clear it down the length of the ice. And an icing will be called. You know, we talked a second ago about Jim Montgomery, who has been up and down this season in the AHL with Kentucky. Played a couple of years ago in Germany, but he was actually the 1993 NCAA Tournament MVP the year the Maine Black Bears won the title. Many people talk about Paul Kariya that freshman season, but it was Montgomery, Kariya, and others who helped the Maine Black Bears capture the national championship the year after Scott Pellerin left school.
I don't know if you mentioned, he's not a very big guy either.
No.
5'8". I mean, he's kind of small, 175 pounds, but he knows where that net is. And what he's brought to this team is some of those intangibles. He will not get a lot of points for you, but he'll be a good checking player. He'll make some plays.
Scored a goal on this road trip against Chicago as Ratchey lets one fly, Tom, which was his first in the NHL in 5+ years, back to December of '95. Well, Montgomery, I'm sure, had a little time the last few days to say hello to his old buddy Scott Pellerin, former Maine Black Bear and a Hobie Baker Award winner in '92. Stewart, the Michigan Wolverine, going against his teammate Steve Shields.
Nice effort by Cam Stewart to get to the puck, get it out of the zone.
Brad Stewart now has it. Across the line comes San Jose. They gain the zone. They fire it towards Fernandez. And once again, Manny really seeing the puck well.
You know, when a goaltender is playing well, the puck is almost like a beach ball coming at you. You can see, as long as you can see, you can catch it. And Manny has had another strong game here. You watch puck just coming over the line here, and you want to set position here. And that's what Brad Stewart is doing as he comes in, tries to get to the forehand. Nobody's in front of Fernandez at all. He can see it cleanly all the way in.
Well, even though he suffered the loss against the Penguins midweek, he was very solid that night and has been very solid here again this afternoon with the 27 saves. As Fernandez looks to move one step closer to John Van Beesbrook's expansion record of 21 wins. If the Wild hold on, Fernandez will have earned win number 18 on the season. Kuba behind the net. Moves it up. Can the Wild get it out, though? Mateau keeps it in for San Jose. He has it. He leaves it. The shot from the point sails wide of the net. Horolyuk is at the point for a little bit of extra offense in this lineup here with just 2:15 remaining on the clock and a 2-goal deficit for San Jose. O'Donnell. Mateau bumps into him. Kuba has it. Can't clear it out. Here's Mark Smith. Smith behind the net to Stefan Mateau. And now it's Simicek. Mark Smith at 5'10", 195 just bodied in and bodied off of Roman Simicek.
But you see what Minnesota's done so often in this game too is to be able to get back in front of their own net to help out their netminder, get the sticks down in position, take those passes away, take those lanes away, and as a result haven't given a lot of real good opportunities to the Sharks.
San Jose watching Dallas very closely, as Dallas ironically is San Jose in the midst of these 12 of 15 games on the road see a Dallas team that is playing 8 of 9 at home. And we talked when we were in Dallas, Tom, about the Stars trying to make up a little ground with Owen Nolan and Vincent Damphousse out of the lineup. The Sharks on an extended road trip. They've gotten closer, but they haven't jumped past San Jose, who has called the timeout in the Pacific Division.
Well, what they're trying to do right now is try and get something regrouped here a little bit. This is a very good hockey club. There's no question that they're well coached and they're well versed in the system that they have to play. Right now, there's no reason to panic here yet. They know they have some time here, under 2 minutes, but this is a team who can come back at you very quickly too.
San Jose has an element of physicality. They have displayed great foot speed. They've had very solid goaltending, and they're the top defensive team in the NHL. That would make for a pretty good playoff contender, wouldn't it?
Well, it certainly would be. And the fact this team is, as you mentioned before, 1,700 or 17 games over 500. I mean, that's a tribute to this guy right here. And they play a system, and that's what the Wild have done too with Jacques Lemaire. He's made sure that they have fallen into what he wants them to do. And this team has played very, very hard. And even coming into the game today, you never know what's going to happen. But right now, we know that there's an empty net down at that one end. It's not Minnesota's.
It is not Minnesota's. That would be a poor coaching tactical move.
Well, maybe.
Walls wins the faceoff. Wild clear it out to the neutral zone. Stewart couldn't hold it in. Roost is in, and Suter's getting in his way. Now it's Laxton, and the net is empty. Stewart's back to try to protect a loose puck from going in, and now with the faceoff inside the San Jose zone, Steve Shields will be forced to come back into the net. And we mentioned everything that San Jose has going for them, but what they have going against them right now are their 2 top players out of the lineup. Suspended Owen Nolan and Vincent Damphousse, working out 4 to 6 hours a day, but not skating quite yet.
Yeah, you look at Nolan, who is, has 6 games left, 5 after tonight to serve, and they will miss him. But this is a team that will be in the playoffs, and once you get those players back, it will be a different hockey team too.
And if they win in the first round, it will not be considered an upset this year. Different from the last couple of trips that they've taken to the postseason.
Dean Lombardi's done a nice job with this club, and bringing the players that work well together, acquiring the coach that works well with the players.
Shields, as San Jose possesses the puck in the neutral zone, will work his way back towards the bench. The net is empty again for the Sharks. With 1:06 on the clock, Suter gets it across. Up ahead towards Ricci. He'll lead for Friesen, and an offside will be called.
Well, they're pushing right now, just jumping the gun a little bit, and the passes have not been as crisp here in the last little bit. And they've got to keep the puck moving. They've got to get over the blue line, gain control, and then start going. And so a team that has been unbeaten in their last 10 road games, 6 victories in that stretch with 4 ties, is trying to do something here, do a miracle to pull out 2 goals here in the last 60 seconds.
15,568 in attendance today at the XL Energy Center. 31st consecutive sellout for the Wild. They were hopeful that their team would not lose a 3rd straight game. Pardon me, 18,568. An overflow crowd here again today. And Tom, one of the many positives this year for the Wild is that their longest losing streak was just 3 games this year, and their longest winless streak was to open this inaugural season before they played 5 games without a win and then finally got the first one here in this building.
Well, when you talk to other teams, you talk to coaches who watch the games and watch how the Wild play, you always ask them, what do you see about the team? And they always say, we see as a work ethic. We see a team that does not stop from the drop of the puck until the end. And there's been very few periods. Their last game here against Ottawa was probably the worst I've seen them play. They just didn't seem to have it, but they have bounced back, and that's what Jacques said. Losing a game like that, but coming back will be a big plus for us.
And in the first period, it looked like San Jose was going to have their way with the Minnesota Wild, with Marco Sturm scoring the early goal. They had a lot of chances in the first period, and then Minnesota goes 0 for 5 in the first period on the power play, Tom, and you go, uh-oh, this is going to snowball, but that man Antti Laakkonen's goal really kind of changed the complexion of this afternoon.
Yeah, and you watch the first period too, and I'm sure the players are talking about, guys, we don't have to get anything right at the beginning here. Let's be smart here and just keep them off the scoreboard. We know they can score, but we keep them off long enough, maybe we can get some of those goals too.
So under a minute remains, the end is empty, and net is empty for San Jose, and the Wild lead by 2. Thornton gets it across towards Friesen. Simicek tries to fight for it. Bombardier gets a poke at it. Pellerin unselfishly just makes sure he clears it of the zone.
And you saw the angle he put it out. He didn't shoot it all the way down the ice straight. He wanted to put it off the boards to angle it so it would not go down there and create the icing call.
Meantime, icing called against San Jose. Pretty good use of the bank there by Scott Pellerin.
Yeah, it certainly was. It was a good bank, too, because it came out over the line.
Tom, this afternoon's Dodge player who made the difference, Scott Pellerin, with the power play goal.
Yeah, he had a tremendous game, I think, today. He played physical when he had to play physical. He was able to put himself in position to pick up the loose puck on the goal here as you watch him once again. Just watching where the play is and getting in position is so important. Rebound comes to him off down, he puts it away, but also the shot off of the pipe. And he certainly did make a difference today. And obviously, you know, the contract talks may bother him. Right now, that's the last thing he's thinking about. Well, maybe not.
Well, not the last thing, but at least it's not the first thing. Our Dodge player who made the difference. Gaby, Walls, quick shot. Good save, Steve Shields.
Look, really so often. Nice little play. Gaby and Walls working well together. Walls just taking that quick snapshot. And, you know, they don't even care right now if they get any more goals. What they want to make sure is that they play well from their red line back, from that center ice line back, and they don't give opportunities to the Sharks.
Now, with this victory, the Wild will go to 13-9-7-2 at home. They have the 3-game road trip and then will return here to the XL Energy Center a week from Monday to take on the Vancouver Canucks.
Even though we'll play by Sutton at the end, instead of shooting to the net, shoot it back in the corner and kill off 1, 2, 3 seconds, whatever it takes.
18,568 will go home happy. 31st consecutive sellout and the 22nd win of the season for the Minnesota Wild. Pellerin, the Dodge player who made the difference. And congratulations once again to number 36, Sylvain Blouin, who scores his first career NHL goal.
And for Minnesota, they should be happy right now. That gives them 22 victories on the season and their 58th game. A phenomenal number for an expansion club. And this team feels real good right now. You can see it was back. The jump was back into their skates.
So for my partner Tom Reed, I'm Mike Goldberg saying good afternoon from the XL Energy Center where the Wild tamed the Sharks. The final score 3-1. The Wild will return to Fox Sports Net on March 1st to begin a swing through Western Canada as they take on Jerome McGinley and the Calgary Flames. Live coverage will begin with the pregame report at 7:30 Central Time. You've been watching Fox Sports Net coverage of the Minnesota Wild on MSC. Coming up at 4 o'clock Central Time, women's Big Ten basketball. Penn State's at Wisconsin. Wild win. So long, everybody.